All right, everybody, welcome back to the Heath Barn. Thank you very much for listening. This episode, fun for me, just me in here. I was planning on possibly doing a voice and calling some Monday Night Football, but too many important fantasy implications. It was too real to me, so I didn't want to do that. So what I did instead was I just kind of shared my thoughts, did a lot of sports talk on this episode, shared my thoughts on some things going on in the NFL, head coaches. Talked about Illinois basketball, my thoughts on that so far. Talked about some stuff in Major League Baseball going on, Ohtani's ridiculous contract, and I talked a lot about the St. Louis Cardinals, obviously. And then for the last, 14, 15 minutes, I go on a side rant / editorial / whatever you want to call it, and I kind of get into coaching and parents. So, just listen to it. Don't judge until you listen. It's mostly positive, but I feel like there are some things that I just kind of felt like getting off my chest, I suppose. So, fun episode. Just me. Again, it's going to be called Sports Talk / Side Rant. So, hope you enjoy it. Thank you very, very much for your support. And welcome to the Heath Barn. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Heath Barn. Hope that we've all had a lovely day. My plan was initially tonight to do a voice and maybe call some football. But these games, there's too much fantasy stuff on the line, so I'm too into it. So I'm like, well, I'll just, it's halftime right now. Right now, this very second is halftime of the Dolphins and Titans game. So I'm going to chat during this and probably pause it and then watch the rest of the game after I get done. But, yeah, I've got serious fantasy implications. So it's too real, damn it. So I'm going to talk about things that I've written down here. I have thoughts on several different things. So we're going to talk about that, or I'm going to talk about that. And then we'll get back to, I'll get back to my football after it's done. But some things that I have noticed, though, with this football. Oh, and one thing, too, like a couple weeks ago, if you listened to the one where I was Cat Williams was calling the play-by-play for the Ravens were playing, I think, and I listened back to it, and I was kind of making myself chuckle because Lamar Jackson is my quarterback in one league, and it's like I'm doing a voice calling the game, but then my guy got legit hurt, so I'm like trying to balance it to where I'm still talking like someone else, but I'm like legit concerned, like, come on, get up. So, yeah, I didn't want to run into something like that tonight. So, anywho, some things I noticed tonight. I'll start with the football, and then I'm going to get to some Illinois basketball, get to some Cardinal stuff, get some baseball, a couple other things that have been on my mind a little bit too that I'll get into later. But football, first of all, things that I've noticed here lately. Head coaches. I'm not sure what some of them really do, because it's almost like on Office Space where that guy's like, what exactly is it you would say that you do here? Because when you pan or whenever they cut away to these head coaches sometimes, I have seen more this year than I think any other year, where there are head coaches not saying shit, like into their headset, nothing, just standing there. Nothing. No expression. Nothing. And you've got your offensive coordinators. They call the offensive plays. You've got your defensive coordinators. They call the defensive plays. The majority of them. There are some head coaches that call plays. But the majority of head coaches do not call plays. So, what do you do? I'm not going to pick on this guy. I'm going to bring him up because he's not the only one I've seen doing this. But watch a Buccaneers game and watch Todd Bowles when they cut to him on the sidelines. He's like a freaking statue, and he doesn't. It's like, who's running? What's going on here? He was a defensive coordinator. Let me see here. The year they won the Super Bowl just a few years ago, he was a defensive coordinator. So then he's doing stuff, but it's like, well, I'll take the raise and I'll be the head coach, and I just won't do anything. I don't think he. And then there was this guy, Denny Carter. He's a guy that's on Roto World. He does fantasy stuff, and he was saying how they asked Chris a question about Chris Godwin, and he said something along the effect of like, well, once he's healthy, he'll be back out there, and the game was over. And Chris Godwin played the whole game. It's like, did you not even know he was playing? Like, are you like, hello, like anything getting through? Watch Todd Bowles on the sideline when they cut away to him. It's just like, it's just he does nothing. And I saw that tonight with Mike Vrabel. Now, Mike Vrabel is a very respected head coach, and obviously I don't think he's like that. But they cut to him 3 or 4 times. He's just standing there, nothing, not talking to anybody. And then, like, there was a big decision right before the half. Will Levis went right to the coordinator, didn't go to Vrabel. And then it wasn't just like what play are we going to run on offense. It was like we're going to call a timeout. What am I doing? A time management thing. And he goes to the offensive coordinator. And then he runs back and you see Vrabel like yelling at him like, hey, but he wasn't. That's not who he went to. It's just like, and there are other examples. And I'm not saying anything about Vrabel because I think a lot of people consider him one of the top, 6, 8 coaches in the league probably. So, but I wonder about that sometimes because these coordinators just work their ass off. They call the plays. They're the ones running the show. And then you work to be a head coach, so you just don't have to do hardly anything anymore. Like I don't know. Lovie Smith, man. Look back at that. Look back at him, like coaching Illinois for one thing. Oh my gosh, you talk about a joke, but nothing. I will guarantee you, him and guys like that they don't know all their players' names. There's no way in hell. They don't know. They got no clue. So, yeah, there are. Todd Bowles is just the guy that I saw the most recently. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm picking on him, but because there are others. My goodness gracious, there are so many head coaches that just stand there and like, don't do anything. I don't think, but I've noticed that. Also, tonight it's Monday Night Football. There's 2 games on at the same time. That's stupid. I know it's like a money grab or whatever, and they got one on ABC, one on ESPN, and ESPN2. They stuck Peyton and Eli with the Giants-Packers instead of. But either way, it's fine. But like, you got 2 games on, you didn't even like stagger them. You got them all at the same time. It's dumb, really dumb. And it's obvious that, it's about money, which everything is. So but dumb. Forcing people to choose, and you can watch 2 games at the same time, but you can't listen to 2 games at the same time. So it's just that's dumb. Some other things about this. I'm watching I watched the first half of Titans Dolphins. Chris Fowler is calling doing the play-by-play for that game with Dan Orlovsky and Louis Riddick, and I like Chris Fowler a lot, but he's making Al Michaels feel like Gus Johnson. It's like zero emotion. Like the Titans, the Titans blocked a field goal, and Fowler's just like, all right, lines up to kick, and the Titans block it, and they're trying to run it back, and they're not, and that's got to make the special teams coach feel good there. And it's like that's a huge play in the game. It's like monotone. So everybody ripping on Al Michaels. Listen to Fowler the second half. Maybe he'll crank it up, but my goodness gracious. Zero emotion. So, let's see. What else here did I put down? Illinois' class from last year has been representing pretty good. You had yesterday, Chase Brown has been getting some run with the Bengals and doing a really good job running back for the Bengals. His twin brother, Sidney, had to come in and play last night for the Eagles at safety, and they got smoked, so I'm not saying they did great, but got a little shout out about them being twin brothers on a national broadcast, so that's cool. You got Tommy DeVito is the quarterback for the Giants right now, which is shocking, but he was Illinois' quarterback last year. And then you've got Devin Witherspoon, who was people expect big things out of, who was the 5th pick of the draft last year, and he is having a great rookie season for the Seahawks. Came on really strong. I haven't heard. I don't know if he's still. I'd say he's one of the top 3, 4, 5 favorites for defensive rookie of the year. So he's had a very good season as well. So Illinois representing pretty good, and that doesn't always happen in football. That's for damn sure. So those are some things that I have noticed from the football. Now let's move it on to Illinois basketball. We'll transition here. They got beat by Tennessee at Tennessee. Not surprised. Tennessee needed that a lot more to Illinois, but at the same time, if Illinois wants to be one of the top teams in the country, you shouldn't care how bad Tennessee needs that win. You go and you get it. But they just made too many mistakes, got outplayed, lost the game. But I think they're 7-2. Beat Florida Atlantic, and Florida Atlantic made it to the Final Four last year. I like the fact that they are old and seemingly so far seem pretty good about accepting roles and being unselfish and things like that. It's a long season. Things like that can change, but they're very old and very experienced. So I would think that would help as the season progresses. But they don't really have a point guard, and that could bite them at some point. It already has a little bit here and there. I love Ty Rodgers. I hope that he stays with Illinois 4 years, and because all those old guys will be gone next year, and he'll have to take on a much larger role offensively. I would think he's not the most naturally gifted offensive player, but he can jump out of the gym, plays good defense. He plays the right way, knows what he's smart for the most part. So, but nobody's visualized him being our point guard his sophomore year, obviously, and sometimes you got Damask bringing it up, and it's not great. I don't know. So that might bite him at times, but overall, I think that they've looked pretty good so far. Coleman Hawkins is Coleman Hawkins. He's going to drive you nuts. Drives me nuts. For every good thing he does something stupid usually. And he doesn't control his emotions very well. He's just like, he does things that a freshman would do. Like he doesn't act like he's been there before enough, and he has. It's his 4th year. Like he'll make a 3 and yell at the refs, get a dunk and yell at the crowd. Just shut up, man. Just get back. It's almost like he's like kind of insecure as a player. So whenever he does something, he's got to yell at everybody like, "Look what I just did! Look what I just did!" Just shut up. Just go back. Just play defense. If you're good enough, people will notice. So he's like that, and then he also he can't put the ball on the floor. I don't trust him passing. I don't, his shooting is extremely erratic. He's just athletic, but he hasn't changed. I don't think. I think a lot of that's upstairs, but he hasn't changed much over the years. He's still a liability in a lot of different ways, I feel like, but Underwood's going to play him, so we might as well just. I like Guerrier. I think he'll be a nice role player all year. Damask, I like him. I like Shannon, obviously. Ty Rodgers. Danger. He needs to. I don't know. I mean, he'll be fine, but I don't be shocked if he transfers because, hell, I don't even know how old he is. I can't keep track anymore of all these guys, but he hasn't got a ton of playing time. So, but I also think that he's good. Puts the ball on the floor too much, but I'm fine with him. Like Goody a lot. I know I'm forgetting people. Oh, and then the freshmen. They just need to understand, okay, just stick with it because, like back in the good old days, you might not get to play 35 minutes a game as a freshman, but just stick with the program. Your time will come. Hopefully they'll think of it like that, but we shall see. But I'm pretty fairly bullish on Illinois this year. But again, I think it just comes down to a lot of different things. But hopefully they'll be unselfish and smart, play smarter than they have especially last year, and more unselfish than last year. But we shall see. But hopefully they will continue to progress and have a good season. I gotta look. Oh, okay, I'm done. I'm done looking at the TV. I paused it. I'm done. Okay, now on to some baseball stuff. We've got, before I talk about the Cardinals, Shohei Ohtani signed for 10 years, $700 million with the Dodgers. Came out tonight that the first 10 years of this contract, with the 10-year deal, okay, I don't want to mess this up. They're going to give him $20 million. They're going to give him $2 million a year for 10 years. Then they're going to give him, $68 million a year for the 10 years after that. So, because Ohtani's like, well, I want you guys to be able to sign other people. So, it's like the most backloaded deal, obviously, in the history of sports by however many $100 million. But so he's getting $20 million for the next 10 years, and then he's getting $680 million for the 10 years after that, when he probably won't even be playing. So, I have a couple thoughts about that. I can't decide if it's shady or super smart, but Cardinals, why the hell can't you do something like that? Just push it, just kick the can down the road, man. Like, and Ohtani, it's like, that's amazing that he would do that. Not hardly anybody do that, but he's got a lot of sponsors. I mean, he's rich, and he's completely rich, no matter what. So, I don't know. I find it odd that that's allowable, but if it is allowable, I don't know why more people don't do it. I know the Cardinals backloaded Sonny Gray's a little bit, but that's that is absolute peanuts compared to what we're dealing with Ohtani. But it's like, why not do that, man? If it's legal, I mean, but I don't know. I can't. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know if it's shady, genius, but whatever it is, the Dodgers got Ohtani, and now they're only got to pay him $2 million. They got to pay Shohei Ohtani $2 million a year for the next 10 years, so they can go out and get whoever the hell they want on top of that. And yeah, so Yamamoto, I believe, is the stud that the Cardinals were supposedly in on, but I'm sure that's gotten out of their budget. Which, by the way, a thing came out saying Bill DeWitt's like the third richest owner in baseball. So Cardinal fans, if that's true, that should piss us all off, because he doesn't act like it, does he? No, he does not. So, but that Yamamoto, buddies with Lars, all this kind of good stuff for the Cardinals. But yeah, he's probably out of their price range now. And they're the ones that set the Cardinals' price range. There really isn't a limit on it, but they put a limit on it. So, hell, he'll probably go to the Dodgers too. Wouldn't surprise me. So, as far as the Cardinals are concerned, Sonny Gray, Kyle Gibson, Lance Lynn, they got 3 starters. They traded O'Neill for a guy but not a lot. But maybe one guy that might be in the bullpen this year. Woo! But and it's seeming like they're not going to trade for another starter. I'd be a little surprised if they did at this point. They want to sign a reliever, which they need. But if it's Jordan Hicks, if he comes back, I'm fine with that. But we shall see. I don't know who that'll be. There's another guy. His name escapes me. Phil Hayton. Haton. See, I don't want to misspeak, but I feel like it's something like that. And he's from the area, and he's been with the Astros, and he's been decent. They've talked about him. So whatever. They need another relief pitcher, which is fine, but it's just like last year they signed Contreras, and everybody thought that was just like a start to the offseason, and they did jack shit the rest of the offseason. That was it. So it's like this year, great, we got 3 starting pitchers. Let's keep on going, because obviously last year was not anywhere near where it was garbage. So let's keep on going. And I just have this feeling it might be like, okay, we're done, we're good. Get one more relief pitcher and then just call it a day. So that's kind of unless Mo's got something cooking, which, whatever. I'm not saying that's never happened before because Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, things like that. But I just have a feeling that, we're going to call it a day. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. But if no position players get traded, then you're looking at Contreras behind the plate. And then you're looking at Goldie, Donovan or Gorman at second, Wynn at short, Arenado at third, Lars in left, Edman in center, Walker in right, Carlson like the fourth outfielder, and then you've got Gorman and Donovan, whichever one isn't playing second, DH, and I would assume, and that's fine. It's a good lineup. Then you got Herrera's our backup catcher, who's young and really good, and hopefully he'll get. And then you can also DH Contreras and let Herrera play quite a bit too, probably. So whatever, a little flexibility there, and then you've still got Burley, So whatever, there's stuff there, but unless you just want to get ballsy and trade. Now Victor Scott is in he's in the minors, and he's a young stud. Stole like 90 bases in AAA. Won a Gold Glove. Not AAA, sorry. I think it was AA. But won a Gold Glove. Hot prospect, center fielder, blah, blah, blah. So he will be ready before too long, I would think. Maybe it might be another year, but if he's the answer in center, then you got to look at some things, between Gorman, Donovan, and Edman. If I had to trade one personally, I think I would trade Edman. Actually, I know I would out of those three, but I like all three of them fine. I really like Donovan and Gorman though, and I just pretty much like Edman. I mean, so, but again, I bet we have all of them, and I bet you our rotation going into the year is Matz, Michaelis, and those three guys we signed, and I bet you we sign one pretty good reliever, and call it a day. I bet you that's what we do. So, but again, we shall see. I do like that Descalso is the bench coach. I think that's pretty cool. I like that Yadi's going to be part of the organization, and hopefully, and they said he'll be in the dugout some, like just kind of depends on his schedule. So it is kind of an odd thing, though. Like they're saying that Ollie's the one that wanted to bring in Descalso. He's the one that wanted to bring in Yadi, and it's like, it's just odd how Yadi has said he wants to be a manager. So, and we're the only organization he's ever been with. So it's like, Ollie, like, I mean, I don't know. You managed us to the worst record we've had in like however many decades. So you sure you want to bring those guys in? But whatever. Hey, it's fine. But Descalso, Yachty, and they said something about Jason Isringhausen maybe taking a little bit bigger role. They want another pitching guy, the guy that helped with the pitching, which I don't see why I don't know, Dusty Blake, whatever. I mean, I don't know anything much about him. I just know that our pitching was garbage last year, and I'd never heard of him before last year. So, but I have heard of Chris Carpenter. I would go bring his ass back into the organization in some capacity, get him in the dugout, get guys that won a World Series with us and know what they're talking about and know what they're doing and have that experience, get those guys in the dugout. So Descalso, Yachty, that's great. Go get Carp. Go get him. Bring him back. Guys like that. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, anyway, I could not believe that the Dodgers were allowed to have that sort of contract where you pay him $2 million a year for 10 years and then $68 million a year for the next 10 years. It blows my mind. So Dodgers got him, and the Cardinals open at the Dodgers also, like first the first series of the year is at LA, so that'll be fun. I'm sure Sonny Gray will be our opening day starter because we will not have another starter better than him, which Sonny Gray got second in the Cy Young voting last year, but our rotation, as is old AF, as they say. So we'll see what happens. Anywho, so that's my Cardinal stuff there. Got some Illinois stuff, Cardinal stuff. Another thing I put down was I'll have to watch how I say all this, but I feel like there's been some situations here, like I've been watching and seeing. I've been involved in the past as well, but with coaches at lower levels, like high school primarily, but getting oh gosh, let's see. I want to choose my words wisely, but I'm also gonna speak my truth, as people that I can't stand like to say. But anywho, I think that coaching is hard. I'll say that. You put in a lot of time, a lot of effort. You stay up at night. When you lose a close game, you stay up half the night thinking about what you could have done different, blah, blah, blah. If you are coaching in high school, you're not making enough money for all the time you're putting in. And it is a lot to deal with. Now, these days, it's even more to deal with because you have a lot more sense of entitlement from people. Small towns, you have people that in these communities that maybe have a different social status. Woohoo! In teeny tiny towns, good for you. You go, nice work. But that think they're can just do whatever they want, run things, think they're invincible, whatever. But now, so that makes them, I don't want to say bad people, but that just makes them people, not my type of people, I guess I'll say that. Now, if those people have a child playing sports, then oh shit, you better watch out, because they'll come in all happy. Oh, yes. They are happy as long as their child is getting to play all the time, getting the ball all the time, getting the most shots. Did we win? Nope. But little Timmy, he had 18. He was about 6 for 27 from the field, and we got beat by 20. But hey, he got yeah. So so they're happy as long as those are the type of parents. And I'm talking about. I will say that the majority. I feel like it's just like people in general. I feel like about 90% of people in general are good, do the right things, want to say they're not. I mean, they're just have a clue about what's going on, and they are. It's like if you go to a ball game and there's 45,000 people there. Well, about 90% of them just want to watch the ball game, be respectful. Clap when something good happens. But then you always have a few idiots there. It's the same thing with any situation, in my opinion. About 90% is always going to be good. But you always get a few turds in the punch bowl. And when you get kids that are entitled when they're playing a sport, they get that usually from their parents because their parents think they're entitled, and they think that because, again, a different social status, more money, I don't know what it is, whatever. But for whatever reason, they think that they have leverage or something. I don't know. But and then if you get coaches that are real and don't give into all that crooked bullshit where it's like, hey, Timmy's not very good. Timmy's attitude's terrible. But Timmy's dad is offered to buy a scoreboard or something, whatever. I'm just giving random things here. You get coaches that are real and don't cave to all that BS. And then the entitled parents, the entitled kid, and everybody just lose their mind, and they try to. And I know these things. I know. I can speak. I mean, I'm not just throwing out random stuff here. It's why there's a lot of good coaches just sitting at home, and because they're like, it's a joke with in a lot of different ways. The best player should play. If your attitude sucks, shouldn't matter how good you are. Sit your ass on the bench or go home, whatever. And But if you're not very good and your attitude's bad, say it's the same as if you're good, but it's like a lot of times the ones that are entitled, the parents are entitled, and they think they can just do whatever they want, whatever. The kid's about half as good as he thinks he is, and he's about half as good as what the parents think he is. That just seems to be how it works out, And players, I feel like it's about the same way. About 90%, again, good. Show up, work their butt off. But if that one turn the punch bowl spreads to other kids, other things like that, then you can have a problem on your hands, And you can lose your team. You can lose, support in the community, which whatever. To me, it's like I'm not gonna play favorites. I'm gonna do things the way I feel like I should do them. And if you want to come support us, great. But if not, hey, that's your prerogative. But it's almost like you get these. You'll get about one or two sets of parents on every team that just like it's like you're in this like dark room and they're smoking cigars. Like, all right, hey, glad you got the job, and here's what's gonna happen: this, and this. And if you're just like, well, I'm gonna do things the way I want, they're like, oh, I'm not gonna play ball, huh? Like that. It's like this old. It's like the old. I don't know. That's the way I see things. But I've you get in a situation where it's like, and then you try to adjust to them and do things the right way, and then finally it's like you don't get anything in return as a coach. So then you finally just you can just blow up, lose your patience, whatever, and then people try to flip it on you like, oh my gosh, oh did you he's so mean and this and that, and it's a lot. It's a lot for all these coaches these days to put up with. So they don't mention how all they, like there's and parents like that. Usually their kid will go home and whine, and things like that. Instead of going and earning something and playing hard and just having a good attitude, anytime things don't go their way, they just go home and whine to mom and dad because they know mom and dad will call the school and then cause this big, shitstorm. And it's just not worth it as a coach, in my opinion, to put up with things like that. Because kids like that are the ones that are disrespectful all year and are lazy, and they flop around with fake injuries and get up 5 minutes later. They're the ones that are, causing drama in practice and showing up late and just have this horrible, indifferent attitude and entitled attitude and things like that. And then the second that you pounce on them or something like that, instead of them wanting to prove the coach wrong, be like, I'll show him, I'm going to play hard, I'm going to do this. No, I'm just going to go to mom and dad, and mom and dad will just go to the school and try to get him fired. We'll just handle it like that. That's the kind of stuff that goes on in these small towns way too much. It comes like families that think they have power, and they're in a town that is, you go to a bigger town, wouldn't even be called, like where you're from isn't even called a town. It's like a village. It's tiny. You're not that important. So just go tell your son or daughter or whatever, play as hard as you can, do what the coach tells you, and have fun. Don't make excuses. Don't be lazy. Don't come home whining to me if your coach yelled at you. There's a reason he yelled at you. It's not just coming out of nowhere, I'm sure. So it's the same thing in the classroom. It's like for teachers, it's like there's too many that are like, okay, well, you're perfect, so I know that it's not your fault. It's got to be this grown-up's fault who's got a college degree teaching you. They're the ones. It's got to be them, not you. Not you. You're 10 years old and you're perfect. I know you. I know you don't do anything wrong ever. So I'll just try to get this teacher fired. So it's just like, what are we doing? Just Jesus criminy. There's a reason it's hard to find people in those professions, because there's a lot of just nonsense, to deal with, and not enough money. So, anywho, just a little side rant there. But, it's hard when you get put in that situation where like these entitled parents just kind of try to come at you and stuff to get your thoughts together, instead of, or if it's instead of just being like, okay, yeah, it should just be like, okay, well, your son, daughter, whatever, was disrespectful from day one, lazy, not a team player, stirring up drama constantly, mouths off, talks back, punches walls for no reason, and then acts like they was going to have a cast for 2 months, but you're really perfectly healthy. It's just like there's so many things, So that is why I ended up getting on, or another coach ends up getting on somebody. There are reasons. There are reasons. And I just think I think parents just need to support every child on the team that's on a team and not just worry about little Timmy getting his. It's a team game. Be supportive and just try to make sure your child is respectful and respects refs. Those are the same parents too, where it's never their fault. They're on the car ride home. Well, the refs are bad. Your coach doesn't know what he's doing. You just shoot. You just make sure you shoot. Just clueless. Makes it really hard on the coach to try to keep everybody on the same page whenever you've got people like that, and then everybody's and you get kids that are kind of a pain in the butt in the first place, and then you start feeding their getting in their head saying all these things to them, and next thing you know, you've lost your team, and you don't even. It's only because of a few morons, So it can be a lot, and I feel like coaches around here, just for those of you going through anything like that, just keep plugging or give them all the middle finger and go enjoy your life, because sometimes it is just not. Let somebody else be the sucker that puts up with all those people, because I highly doubt they'll change. But I wish some of them would, but I highly doubt it. So anyway, that was a bit of an editorial there on my thoughts on things. That's just been on my mind a little bit here lately. But anywho, so side rant there. But so again, I talked about, let's see here, we talked about some football, some Monday Night Football. We talked about Illinois basketball, talked about some baseball, kind of made the rounds, and then got on a little side rant there. So, anywho, coming back Thursday, as it stands right now, I'm going to have a guy in that I'm excited about having in, and he, I'll just save it for Thursday for the episode, but he's supposed to be coming in Thursday evening. And I'm excited about the interview. So it's something that I enjoy learning about new things, even if I have no clue how to do it myself and wouldn't want to. I still find things like that interesting. So he's going to come in. It should be a fun episode Thursday. Christmas is coming, so hope everybody's enjoying their holiday season and does enjoy their holiday season. I'm sure there will be an episode coming up also where we will do some impersonations, improv laughter involving Christmas situations and voices. So you can look forward to that too if you're into that kind of thing. But anywho, hope that you have enjoyed this episode. I'm going to watch the second half of this game and put this episode out. So, from the Heath Barn, thank you for listening, and that's that.